The next chapter that we are going to dive into is you don't have to love the work, but you're addicted to the results. A quote from this one is discipline beats passion. Passion is a spark, and discipline is the flame that keeps burning. So, while yes, we need to be passionate about what we are doing, otherwise, our results are just going to be soulless, and people can tell the difference, right? You know, somebody who heart is in it versus somebody who's just going through the motions. But that discipline and that dedication and that consistency, that will win out over any amount of passion. Because no matter how much you want to wish and will and love your way to something, it's that hard day in, day out work that is actually going to make it happen.
Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach. Welcome back to episode 4 on Relentless by Tim Grover. This book has been so fun to be able to go back through with you guys. This book has shaped so many different parts of my life, both in and out of the arena. And I'm really glad that we're able to go through these chapters one by one and really take notes on the thoughts that they're sharing and how it can apply to us as horsemen. So, this week we are going to be talking about 3 different chapters. One chapter will be You Make Decisions, Not Suggestions. You know the answer while everyone is still asking questions. This chapter, the theme is all about decisiveness, leadership under pressure, and trusting your instinct. So it's like a really good one, especially for us as being leaders for our horses. Like I love this chapter when we kind of gear it towards that mindset. The next chapter that we're going to dive into is you don't have to love the work, but you're addicted to the results. This one's all about embracing the discomfort that comes from chasing excellence and our pursuit of perfection, the consistency that it takes, and our overall obsession with the outcome, right? Because that outcome and that drive and that dream is what is going to push us through a lot of these difficult times that we may experience along the way. And the final chapter that we're going to look at for this week is You'd Rather Be Feared Than Liked. Oof. This one's going to hurt me to talk about because I need to read this chapter probably every single day of my life because I struggle so much with people pleasing. And this one's all about commanding respect, setting boundaries, and releasing people pleasing tendencies. So I'm going to have a good time getting into that one with you guys. But let's take it back to the top and let's talk about you make decisions, not suggestions. You know the answer while everyone is still asking questions. So, in order to be an ultimate cleaner in this category, you need to be able to assess the information that is presented in front of you and make a decision quickly and commit to that decision, follow through on that decision, do the things that are required to see that decision played out in the fullest. A quote from this chapter is Deciders don't wait for permission, they move while others hesitate. So, for us as horse people, a big part of this is when we are in the show pen. We don't wait for permission, let's say from our trainer or our help or for just somebody, anybody to come save us when we are performing out in the middle of the pen with our pattern. We have 3 minutes where all the decisions need to be made by ourselves. We need to be guiding our horses and telling them what to do, at what speed, at what direction. We need to be making decisions that are clear, concise, and then dictated to those horses. And I think that's what helps make the difference between a good rider and a great rider. As it says here, they move while others hesitate. Great riders are constantly moving and making decisions that are the best for their horse, that sets up each maneuver to be the highest possible level. And so, what does it really mean to be a decision maker? someone who is steering the ship. It means that you are confident. It means that you're knowledgeable because we don't want to be a decision maker who doesn't know what the heck we're talking about. It would be like going out there and you've never ridden your horse before, and yet you think that you're going to be able to tell him exactly how to lope off and change leads when, you don't even know how much pressure to put into his side, right? So, a big thing about being able to make great decisions is by having the knowledge, and getting that knowledge takes time. So allow yourself the time in the saddle, the time with your trainer, time with your visualizations to really dial in what it takes to make decisions and what a good decision looks like for you and your horse. This chapter also talks about the difference between instinct and fear. So, a big part of that is, let's say we're showing and we have to follow our instinct in an instance. An example of this would be when I was showing a horse that was a little bit insecure and I thought he could potentially spook at something. If I allowed my fear to take over, then I would have been in just as bad of a spot as he was when we passed through the scary part, but I allowed my instinct with my knowledge and my certainty as a leader to take over in order to give him guidance to be able to make it through that scary spot, and we ended up not spooking. We ended up being able to go through those lope overs that had these big, wooden trees next to it that a lot of horses had been spooking at, and I knew that there was a strong chance that mine was gonna do it, but I just told myself, "We're gonna make it." Count the strides. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was so intentional with everything that I did with that horse that he had no choice but to go exactly where I wanted him to, and it ended up being an extremely successful ride because I was able to make a decision. I didn't offer that horse a suggestion of, "Hey, maybe we should go here, but if you think it's a little scary, we don't have to." It was, "Hey, decision, we're going this way. We're loping over these poles. I'm making this happen." And it it ended up being extremely successful, but I know that if I would have weakened just a little bit, he wouldn't have gone. He wouldn't have done it. And so, I think that a big part of this decision-making chapter is about having confidence in yourself. But how do we get the confidence in ourselves? Like, do we just fake it? Maybe a little bit. But honestly, it comes from a lot of little reps that lead to that bigger trust in yourself. Start by making small decisions and proving to yourself that I can make a good choice. I can do the right thing. I can find the right way in order to get through this class. Some of this too is going to come from your visualization, where you are playing these things out over and over and over again in your head, trying to make the best decision and the best ride for your horse. So definitely give yourself the time to be able to build the knowledge and build the confidence. So that way, when you are in those pressure situations, you're making decisions and it's great. Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pen anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and I'm here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
So, where in your life do you feel that you're waiting for permission rather than making a decision? Is there something that you think whether it's with horses or maybe in a business relationship where you feel like you know what the correct answer and direction should be, but yet you're waiting for someone to tell you? And why is it, do you think, that you're doing that? Maybe take some time and really dive into those things and see if there is an opportunity for you to step up and make a decision and go for it because you know that you have the knowledge and you can trust your gut on it. The next chapter that we are going to dive into is you don't have to love the work, but you're addicted to the results. A quote from this one is discipline beats passion. Passion is a spark, and discipline is the flame that keeps burning. So, while yes, we need to be passionate about what we are doing, otherwise, our results are just going to be soulless, and people can tell the difference, right? You know, somebody who heart is in it versus somebody who's just going through the motions. But that discipline and that dedication and that consistency, that will win out over any amount of passion. Because no matter how much you want to wish and will and love your way to something, it's that hard day in, day out work that is actually going to make it happen. So, I think that that's where this chapter is kind of cool because, yes, we need to love the process, but it's being obsessed and addicted to the results that is going to drive us to like the process, right? Because even though everybody always says, love the journey is where it's at. If we didn't like the result or the end place that we were trying to get to, we're definitely not going to like the journey. And you like the journey because it's taking you to where you want to go. And if where you want to go, if the journey takes a little longer, it's okay because you know that ultimately you're going to get to where you want to go. But make sure you are obsessed and addicted to the result at the end of the tunnel. Otherwise, it's going to be a really, really long road. So, this chapter also talks about how that passion will kind of wean and wane during different seasons that we're in. We might be in a season where it's all consuming and we are loving every step of the way, plus the results. And that is a great place to be. If you are blessed enough to be in that season right now, I hope you are running full speed ahead because right now you don't have to generate momentum. It's already there, it's in front of you, and you can just roll with it. But if you're in a season where maybe the journey feels tough or the steps feel heavy, you have to remind yourself of the result and end goal that you are dredging on towards because it's going to be worth it as long as that goal that you are aiming towards is what you truly want. It's the fire inside of you that you can see that's lighting you up and you're guiding towards. If it's somebody else's dream, you better change that direction real fast because when it's tough, if it's not your passion at the end of the tunnel, it's going to be a really, really hard road home. So definitely take a look at that and make sure that you see the passion at the end for the result. And then you put in the consistency and the effort and the work in order to keep working towards it to accomplish it. So, what do you think it would look like for you to be able to fall in love with the outcome, to be able to fall in love with the dream, and to allow the grind and the steps and the time that it's going to take to do that, allow that to become part of your story and part of the excitement and part of, even though it's tough, it's going to be worth it. What is it going to take for you to say, yes, every single day I want to work towards that? This is where it's great too to have a vision board or a note on a mirror or a note on your fridge that's reminding you of what exactly it is that your goal is. Like we've talked about in a lot of the subscriber only episodes, that we have a goal and we are working towards the big main goal and then the little goals that are getting us step by step towards it. We break it all down and then each month we want to have our tiny goals and then we see if we accomplish that in the month. Those goals can change a lot because we might not reach them or we might surpass them quicker than we thought. And so I want our monthly goals to be able to be changeable, just as long as it is taking us down the path of the ultimate goal that we are working towards. So, like an example for me would be I have a 3-year-old, and my ultimate goal is for him to be the brokest kindest, most enjoyable show partner for somebody out there. And our goals along the way are like number one, let's be able to take him over one pole. Well, that went a little quicker than I thought. So, okay, now we can go over multiple poles. Or goal number one, let's just take him to a horse show. Well, he did really good. So we're actually going to show him in the horsemanship, you know? So sometimes these goals can evolve and change. Or like I had a goal of showing him in the trail, but then we shifted and we might be doing the pleasure versatility. So we scrapped the trail goal, and that's okay. But because overall, we are getting towards that big goal of having the brokest, most enjoyable, reliable partner. And all these little goals shaping towards it are building towards that real reliable partner. And knowing that that's what my dream is for him, the consistency of day in, day out of I know that this is going to take work every single day. It's worth it. It's exciting. It's great. So I think that that's what helps me to keep showing up every single day because my want and need for him to be an incredible partner, it's non-negotiable. Like if I don't feel like he is going to be that, I feel like the blame is on me because I didn't show up. And so that's something that really, really drives me, which I get excited about. So take a little bit of time right now and think about what results are you hungry enough for that make the hard parts worth enduring? What is your dream right now? What is your goal? And is that goal exciting enough for you that you're willing to go through the hard times, that you're willing to show up even when you're tired, that you're willing to be excited about when is the same thing for a week straight, a month straight. Really look at that goal that you are driving towards and write it down, put it up somewhere, and let it inspire you every day. So that way, that consistency is a no brainer. And one thing, too, about the consistency is the more consistent you become, the easier it is to become consistent. It's just the habit, it's the routine. And I don't want to say that it goes on autopilot, but it definitely just becomes second nature to you to be committed and dedicated to something. So it's absolutely worth diving into and creating a routine that will work for you to help set you up for success so you don't have to choose to be committed. You're just automatically dedicated to it, and it's automatically happening on a regular basis.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. I wanted to take a moment to thank our very first gold sponsor, Hobby Horse Clothing Company. If you're looking for a cost effective way to elevate your look at the horse show, check out what Hobby Horse has to offer. From budget friendly crystal jackets to simple show shirts to stylish lifestyle tops, Hobby Horse has everything you need to look your best. Make sure you use code EYR2025 for an additional 10% off at checkout. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends. And then the chapter that I've been dreading talking to you guys about, it goes, "You're a cleaner when you'd rather be feared than liked." Oh man, this one I struggle with so much because I feel like it gets me in a lot of trouble. And not necessarily trouble, but I just feel like I get taken advantage of quite often because I am so worried about being liked and not offending anyone, which I think there's a slight difference between the two. And so maybe I'm more worried about not offending anyone than I am actually being liked. But if you don't offend people, usually they like you. But I think the big thing is I just don't wanna upset anyone. I don't like conflict, and it just it's difficult. But so a quote from this one is, "If being liked is your priority, you'll never lead. You'll follow the need for approval straight into mediocrity." Ooh, that hurts. That hits me straight in the heart because sometimes I do think I would be I there are certain areas of life where I am a phenomenal leader. I am strong, I am confident, I'm knowledgeable, but my fear of offending or upsetting the apple cart, it does lead me to mediocrity. It really does because I don't show up as a leader sometimes because I'm afraid to say, "Hey, you're wrong, and we can't do it that way. We have to do it this way." And like I said, I need to just read this chapter over and over and over again because it talks about commanding respect, setting our boundaries, and releasing that people pleasing. You know, a big thing about boundaries is they need to be enforced. And I'm great at setting boundaries. I'm just terrible at enforcing them. And so, really, like, what does this mean for you? How do you show up in life with these? It's all about this chapter is all about reclaiming the concept of being feared. And by being feared, I think maybe a better word that I would like to use is being respected. It's not about being just this dictator. It's about having just unwavering standards, unwavering boundaries that people are aware of and people respect. They know that your no means no, and therefore they can appreciate when you actually give a yes. And man, I can say that with all the conviction in my heart and soul. I believe it. I've experienced that and I feel that when somebody who says no finally says yes, and you're like, okay, I respect that. But why can't I do that for myself? It's hard. It's hard. So this is a tough one if you are like me and really struggle with people pleasing. Um, but this chapter also talks about how when we try to be liked, it dilutes our voice, it dilutes our results. Because, like, an example for me is sometimes with my horses in the past, I would have a conviction as to what I needed to do with them, and I would outsource the leadership on actually doing it because I didn't wanna offend somebody by going maybe above and beyond to make it happen. And really, somebody recently told me that you don't know true horse showing and training until you're gambling with your own money. And that's what we're doing out here, right? And you need to be able to make the decisions as if we go back to those other chapters, make the decision that works best for you and your financial situation and your circumstances because nobody else is living what you are experiencing. So therefore, if they don't think you should sell the horse, but you need to sell the horse, sell the horse. If you don't think you can afford to go to this horse show, so you're going to go to a slightly smaller one because you can't afford it, but they think that you need to show at this higher level, they're not the ones paying your bills. So set your boundary and say, while I appreciate that you have faith in me, This has nothing to do with my belief in my skills. This is strictly black and white numbers game. I can't afford this. There is nothing personal when it comes to money. It is either I can or I can't, and I can't. And I think that those are good boundaries that, like, a lot of times in the horse industry, we kind of allow to maybe get swept away from us, which can be really, really difficult. So I just think that if we can trust ourselves and set those boundaries, it really, really helps with that respect factor. Because, yeah, I think that's how I'm going to maybe reframe a little bit of this chapter because there's a few things in here that, while I love this book and I'm obsessed with it, there's a few words that I think we could tweak to fit a little bit better. And I like you'd rather be respected than liked. That sounds better than you'd rather be feared than liked. Like the connotation of fear is one of submission, whereas respect is kind of reverence and they appreciate what you have put in and what you've done. So it also talks about how respect can build structure, clarity, and trust inside of these environments too, right? As we were just discussing, how when somebody tells us no, quite often we take their yes way more seriously. And so I think that that's a great step to take. So, a big question that I would like you guys to kind of dive into is where are you still trying to be liked and you feel that it is a detriment to your results? And where in that area, if you chose to be respected, how would that change your outcome? And what would it feel like to be respected? Why are they going to respect you? What do you possess that is deserve being respected? Respect is not given, it's earned. So how do you earn that respect? And I think that's a big question too. Do you respect yourself? Do you respect your boundaries? Do you respect everything that is going on in your mind that you are expressing to the world? Because those boundaries and that respect are going to get you closer to accomplishing your goals. So where can you kind of focus and dial in on that? And how would it change the results that you're getting? So all three of these chapters are really pointing us towards a mindset that requires clarity, discipline, and self-respect. I think that these are great chapters that kind of like group together because the respect that we have for ourselves is going to allow us to make better decisions. And the decisions we make are going to allow us to achieve those results and be committed to the consistency that it takes to accomplish them. So I really want you guys to like leave this episode and think about where in my life do I need to leave more decisively, commit to more deeply, and let go of being liked in order to grow. What do you think that would be for you? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will wrap this book up next time. So, hope you're enjoying it. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.